looks like we are live, and we'll go ahead and give it a few seconds, let a few people join up. Yeah, get everything lined out here. So, looks like we have the actual box here for the Home Alone set. This is, of course, the very first part of our live build. So we're just looking at the very beginning here, then we're gonna crack it open. Here we have some of the minifigs at the bottom. You can see Kevin, there's the sled, there's even Old Man Marley right there. The tree house, which is something that wasn't in the original Lego Ideas setup. Of course, for anybody who doesn't know, this was a Lego Ideas set. So that means that, of course, it was submitted as an idea originally by a fan. Hey, Waylon, how's it going, man? Good to hear from you, pal. Everything been going okay for you? Let's go down a little bit here. Here we have Marv. He is tripped on the side of the house. There's Kevin looking out at him. And I know, right? The OK moving van. That is so great. The blue that they did is just right, too. It's kind of like this baby blue kind of look. And then, of course, the house opens up because it's like a dollhouse kind of setup. And it looks like the attic and all that comes off, too. So I'm excited. Let's go ahead and crack this thing open. Could talk about it all day, but, you know, that's the thing about Lego tape. If you ever notice, Lego tape is on there. Whenever you take it off, it absolutely, like tears off the part of the box. Of course, I should probably just cut it, but I don't have enough room to save these boxes. Some people keep like a hoard of Lego boxes. I can't do that. I do not have the room to do such a thing. All right. So this is one of those deals where it comes in like smaller boxes. Like you open it up and out. And I've noticed this with pretty much all big sets that I've gotten lately. Get this out of the way. Got boxes flying everywhere. So you can see it right there. I guess they have the pieces delineated some way here. Let's see. Get my, if this is just more distracting. Maybe I should just go with regular white, who knows. So that's one box. And then looks like the rest are bags. I think the rest, the loose bags in here like these, I think are like much later in the build. I honestly think these loose bags are like for the roof and the attic. So I actually think I don't have to fool with any of these. Yeah, I think I can just go straight to the box that I have on there. All right. Throw these to the side and let's see what's in the box, as Brad Pitt would say. What's in the box? Open the box, you filthy animal. All right, let's see what we got here. This is funny. They have the book like wrapped in with all the pieces. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, well, this is cool. See, this is why I don't want to like look online and see every little thing about the set first, because there's some cool surprises if you don't know exactly what to expect. Here's bag number one right here, so we'll definitely lay it to the side. 2 and 4. This is the fun part where you just dive right in. Now, apparently, they have the bags split off into like, I think it's like 25 bags or something, 24 bags, so that it can be kind of like an advent calendar, to where if you really wanted to, you could do like a bag a day leading up to Christmas, which is, I think, a really cool idea. I think that's actually pretty creative. So let's see what we've got. All right, here's bag number one. But what I want to do is give a little bit of special attention to not only the sticker sheet, but also this really cool instruction manual, which is also sealed in a bag. Which I'm glad they do this. I'm glad they put the stickers in there with it, shrink wrap, because I think it saves a whole lot of damage when it comes to everything. So let's just have a look at this book, because I cannot believe they went to the trouble of making it look like Kevin's battle plan. I mean, look at that. This is great. Can you believe that they did this? Oh my Lord. How awesome is this? I mean, it looks exactly the same. You can see where he's got all of his different traps here. It says by Kevin McAllister. I mean, goodness. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So not only do we have this incredible book, but we also have the stickers for the set. And the sticker sheet was actually the first thing that got leaked from the set. So I remember poring over the sticker sheet, trying to figure out what everything, you know, was representing. And of course, it was really easy to tell what was what, especially this, which is probably the funniest thing of all, because as anybody knows who's watched the movie, Kevin rigs up a standee of Michael Jordan, and he makes it dance to make the robbers think that there's a party going on. Of course, they don't have the NBA license anymore, so instead of bulls, they're the bricks. So there you go. And then we also get some like foil-backed stickers here. All sorts of different things. They're supposed to have more of a shiny look. Oh yeah, and here we actually have the sticker version of the battle plan right here. This is cool. Oh yeah, this is awesome. I see we have the airline tickets right here. You can see that they're getting ready for their trip to, I guess they're going to Paris. I guess they're going to France. So that's really cool. And this, I suppose, is a mirror right here. So this is all your foil back stickers. I'll come up with a place to put those. Okay, let's look at the manual here. Yes, the bricks. I think they're everybody's favorite NBA team. We have just a little guide about kind of what's going on. Oh, this is cool. Here's Kevin with the ice cream. I didn't know that would actually be in here, because as anybody who knows the movie knows, Kevin makes himself sick on all sorts of ice cream and junk food as soon as he realizes everybody's gone. There's Buzz's room. And then we have some interviews with some of the guys who made the set. And I always love going through these later. I'm not going to bore us to death with that. Oh my gosh, these pictures are hilarious that they've got here. Okay, and this is how you use a brick separator, kids. I know, right? Surprising. So instead of the actual house, it looks like that for these, this video, I suppose we're going to be, with bag 1 and 2, we're going to be building the OK plumbing van that Harry and Marv use as a front for their escapades trying to rob all the houses. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, deep breath. Okay, here we go. So first things first, with bag number 1, the minifigs, I believe that we get right off the bat are Harry and Marv. So let's go ahead and get it going. Here we go. Time for another one, guys. Oh yeah. Okay, got our pieces separated out here. Get this rearranged. Yeah. Okay. I know everybody has a different way of doing this. I have figured out over the years that the more thought I put into how I'm doing this, the more cumbersome it is. So I have found lately that it is just better to, I try to keep like the little bags that they have separated. I keep those pieces in their own little piles. So I like have a pile for one bag, here's a pile for another, because I found that those are at least have some of those pieces are similar, or they're the same type of piece. That kind of helps me out. Then there's just the miscellaneous pieces that are just kind of out there. So you can see here we have, I believe, what appears to be Harry's torso right there. So that's something anyway. Let me get this out of the way so you guys can see a little bit better. Just blocking out my light there. Let me adjust slightly. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I don't want to accidentally be making a shadow with my own camera. Okay, so let's get to it. I guess it says that we should build Marv first. Who'd have ever thought in a million years that we would be building a Daniel Stern minifigure? But here I am. All right, so he wears his funny gray suit right here. And Then we have his head, which has probably one of my favorite alternative. Look at that. I mean, they've gotten it down to like a science. That's a Daniel Stern likeness right there in Lego, my friends. Look at that. It's fantastic. Look at the alternate head, though. Look at the alternate expression. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and this hairpiece. You know, we've seen this hairpiece many times before, but this just makes me think that it was made for Daniel Stern. Look at that. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's going to be hard for me not to just keep it on the iron face where he's been injured here. I mean, I think we all know that the odds of the wet bandits or sticky bandits, depending on which movie you're talking about, the odds of them surviving those traps, I mean, it's not good. I'm pretty sure that any one of those traps would have killed those guys. Like just one of them. Like there's a few, I think they just would have been maimed on, you know, maybe they would just be hurt and they would be able to walk away or crawl away, I guess. But man, some of them, I mean, instant death. Like I really believe that if you took a hot iron to the head at the distance and the speed that Marv does in the movie, I think you're dead. Personally, I think it's over. I really do. All right, here we have his crowbar. Crowbar's up. Okay, now time to move on to Harry. Oh, Harry. You know, as a kid, I always like struggled keeping their names straight. Did you guys do that? Like I always had a hard time knowing which one was which. But I came up with a surefire way to like make sure I knew which one was which later, and it's kind of a foolproof method, but it requires a little bit of backwards thinking, which I'm an expert on. Oh, look at that. A Joe Pesci minifigure, people. What a world, what a world. All right, let's get his boggin on. Okay. Now, if you look, and it's very hard to see on my live stream here, but he actually has his gold tooth there. Now, I will say that I think it's harder to get this to look like Joe Pesci because Daniel Stern, they have facial hair and they have, you know, a hairpiece to kind of cheat it a little bit with a likeness. But I still appreciate that he's done on the like Hobbit legs. Do you see that? Little mid-sized legs. So the heights work. And I think that the silhouette for both of them, it's just right. So I think that's just right on the money. I don't think they could have done any better with that. Let me find his crowbar. It's in here somewhere. I think they both get crowbars, if I'm not mistaken. I'll find it here in a minute. Probably as I'm sorting for something else. Oh, it's also worth noting, because I thought this was a cool touch, and I did not know this was a thing. Once again, this is why I don't like study every little thing with these sets, is I want to kind of have some thrills, some surprises built in. Look at that. He's now in disguise as the police officer from the beginning of the movie, which I always thought was ingenious. You know, keep in mind, don't hold it against me. I think I was 4 when I first watched the original Home Alone. And I remember being sort of confused at the beginning of the movie because I couldn't figure out why he also played a police officer. That's right. That's my dumb kid story of the afternoon right there. But hey, I think I'm going to give myself a break on that one. But seriously, I remember just being very confused. Couldn't figure out why the same actor was playing a police officer and a robber. There you go. You can have a chuckle over that one. Found his crowbar right here as we transition him back into Harry. So, all right, I'll stop fawning over the figures here. They're fantastic, but I think I'm going to let them watch their van being built back here so that they'll have a way to creep around in the neighborhood. All right, enough messing around. Okay, first things first. Got the rock solid foundation of the van right here. I believe this is the right one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 14 long. every time I don't count one of these, it doesn't go well for me. So maybe you all can just eye it a little bit better than I can. I cannot. It does not work for me. Has not worked for me in the past, my friends. So I'm always by a hair picking the wrong piece. So I do think it's funny how there's all these funny bright colors going on in like the interior of these builds. Because it's funny because it ends up looking like a Christmas tree, and you're gonna see why here in a second. This is supposed to be the interior of the van, but if you look, you've got green and you've got red. So it kind of looks like a Christmas gift, which, you know, these can be any old color on the inside because the whole reason they do these funny colors on the inside is to delineate pieces, to make it easier to figure it out. But I have to believe that they chose the red and the green because they're wanting it to be kind of Christmassy on the inside. So you know what? Sure. Yeah, why not? Seems like a swell idea. Absolutely swell. All right, so we have the wheel well kind of axles or whatever. I don't know anything about cars. So it's where the wheels go. That's what we'll say. All right, then we have a cover piece that kind of hides those Christmas colors right there. Don't worry, Christmas colors. You're still in our heart and in our peripheral. All right. We also have our big red piece. Get that going right here. Pretty soon the wet bandits will be rolling around town trying to figure out their next target. You know, building this van makes me think of the Sega Genesis Home Alone game, which I really loved as a kid. And me and my brother would play that game quite a bit. That was a great game. I actually thought it was really fun. It was really simple, but it was really fun. And it kind of had a free roam kind of feel to it, as you would play Kevin and you would be on his little sled and you would kind of go around the town, and the van would follow you a lot of the time in that game, which I really thought was kind of scary. I remember I was very little when I played the game, and I just thought I was so creeped out by the van trying to like follow me around and stuff. It was a fun game. It really was. All right, got some of this off blue. I believe that this color here, of course, is what they chose for the actual outer shell of the van. I think that this is the same color that they used for the Bad Batch ship recently that they did. And I cannot remember the name of their ship off the top of my head. But I do think it's that same color. I like it. It's kind of a funny off blue, gray. A few years ago at my work, we were doing Christmas decorating based on movie themes, and we got Home Alone because I insisted. So I was really, really happy about that. And, you know, I'm a massive Home Alone fan, obviously. So one of the things that we decided to do was the OK moving van. Not moving van, goodness. I think it's plumbing, right? It's a plumbing van. And so I remember that I had never put any thought ever into that van and what it looked like in the movie, or even what it said on it. I had never once thought about it. And I remember looking up reference material to be like, okay, what is this even supposed to be? They're in a van, clearly. And I remember I had to try to look up all these different pictures of the van and get the shape right and get what it said on the side right. So it's gratifying in a funny way to be able to, like, I don't think there's any merchandise aside from what I am building right now that has ever attempted to replicate this particular van. So it's cool to finally see something like acknowledge all those little decals and what it says on the side and the intended purpose of the van. It's neat. There's a little bit of fulfillment to it. I don't know. Since I made a large size cardboard cutout of the van for my work, it does feel kind of strange in a way. So let's see. These. Got these on the front. It wouldn't be a Lego live stream unless I dropped every piece. Okay. You know, I really like the size of the van. I think that they got that right. Every now and then they try to do kind of a miniaturized version of a full-sized vehicle like this, and every now and then maybe they went a little far. Maybe it's, you know, they lost something in the transition. But not this time. I actually feel like that this, so far anyway, this feels like the right width and everything. There's kind of a chibi nature to minifig scaled vehicles. I think we all know that now, especially the vehicles that are not the main event. They come with like a structure or a large set. I think we all have come to realize that, yeah, there's always going to be a little bit of a miniaturized, kind of compromised nature to some of those builds, but I have no problem with that. That's actually fine. Sometimes compromises have to be made, and it's honestly starting to feel like a stylistic thing to where, you know, you just sort of expect it, and I'm sure it's an economy thing too. So I'm sure in terms of economics, there's a reason why it is the way it is. All right. Oh, I like that. That's cool. Just hinges off the top right there. Okay. So this goes back here. This is, of course, the back hatch of the van, I believe. And these are the two little pieces that go right there. Okay. Now, okay, we're good on that. Take this. Oh, it goes out here. Building up the sides of the van right now. It's sad the way that the YouTube copyright algorithm works. So it would be so nice to have the John Williams soundtrack on right now as I built this. But you better believe that as soon as I did that, the stream would be pulled down quick as it could for copyright violations. So that's a real shame. That would really set this off nicely. And generic Christmas music just isn't the same. It's funny because what I feel like is going to happen is this is going to send me into Christmas mode. And you know what? If it does, that is fine. I feel like I lived up Halloween to the fullest extent that I could possibly do Halloween. And it is okay now to kind of go into Christmas mode. Some years I feel like Halloween went by too quick. Not this year. We decorated early, me and my wife, and I feel like we got a lot of mileage out of Halloween. So time to embrace Thanksgiving and Christmas. Some people get really hung up on Thanksgiving, like really hung up, because they're very frustrated if people even say anything about Christmas before Thanksgiving. Look, Thanksgiving is great, okay? But I can't decorate my house in turkey, all right? I'm not gonna be wearing pilgrim pajamas like for the next however long. Like, it is just not that kind of holiday, okay? It just isn't. So I don't have a problem with people skipping straight to Christmas. I don't care. People who feel that way are kind of jerks anyway. I mean, let's be real. Who would even care? It's none of your business. Let people do whatever. Oh, I can't believe they're celebrating that. Oh, how could they? Oh, it concerns me so much. Maybe you shouldn't care. Just saying. Like if I choose to watch Home Alone nonstop in the next few days. maybe you shouldn't care about that, Neva. Because it could happen. Isn't it funny how PG movies like Home Alone had so much bad language in them? Like, which it was a John Hughes script, and I don't think John Hughes understood, like, that if you put a bunch of bad language in something, that maybe it won't be perceived as a family film. It's kind of like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He has the crazy line of obscenities in it. When Steve Martin's at the, I believe he's at the bus stop or the airport or the rental car thing, whatever it is. And he absolutely goes into that crazy line of obscenities with the lady that's at the front desk. And he's, I mean, I just don't even know. If it wasn't for that, that movie would probably be like a family movie. But hey, that's fine. John Hughes was a genius, so I'm not here to question him. It is funny how Chris Columbus ended up directing Home Alone, because John Hughes, you know, it's definitely a John Hughes movie. And it's funny because as a kid, I'd only seen a couple of John Hughes movies. Didn't even realize they were by the same guy. But we're talking about somebody who was brilliant enough to be the same person who wrote Home Alone and Christmas Vacation. Think about that for a second. Number one, how's that even possible? Because it doesn't seem possible. It seems like something somebody would make up. Number two, they're very different. Honestly, Christmas Vacation doesn't really feel like a John Hughes movie to me. It kind of, I don't know, I think John Hughes was acutely aware that he was writing a vacation film when he wrote that, a National Lampoon's Vacation film. So I think he was writing it in that style. Whereas I think with Home Alone, that is written to be a true blue John Hughes movie, and that's what it is. So I think there's kind of a difference there. I really do. It's not exactly the same type of thing, and you'll know what I mean. Every John Hughes movie has certain like hallmarks to it. One of them is like slapstick, crazy slapstick comedy, and then like heartfelt family understanding or reunion at the end of the movie, or like emotional revelation, and it always has the same exact vibe to it. I'll tell you, Chris Columbus's direction and John Williams' music, though, do make it feel a little different than a standard John Hughes movie. So, but however, I really think you can watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and then watch Home Alone, and you can catch so much of the same kind of DNA. And of course, you can do that with Uncle Buck, because Uncle Buck, you've got Macaulay Culkin, and of course, that's the whole reason that he's in Home Alone. And oh my gosh, you know, he's got some really vulgar, non-PC lines in Uncle Buck. That's not to say Uncle Buck isn't a classic, because it is. So I'm just saying that it's weird. Nowadays, the way that we perceive that kind of movie and what a kid would be saying in a movie like that, it wouldn't fly, I don't think. Not in the family movie kind of context. And Uncle Buck, I think, is always kind of considered, whether it should be or not, is considered to be a part of the family movie kind of pantheon, which I don't think it really is, but, you know, in the 80s, definitions of family movie was a little different. The 90s kind of, I think the 90s sort of created or recreated a subgenre of movie with the family kind of comedy movie. Because I sort of think that wasn't much of a thing for a while there, for a few years. So I didn't realize it when I was building it, but this is the front of the van. This is really cool. Yeah, the headlights on the side, the grate on the front, and then the front plate right there. So yeah, really nice. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to make an executive decision with this live stream. And something that has driven me crazy in the past, and something that has made some of the LEGO live streams sort of miserable sometimes, is attempting to put on stickers live, and it never works out for anybody. It doesn't work out for me because I can't do an especially good job when that's happening and I'm live streaming. And it never works out for the audience because you're just sitting there kind of waiting. And off camera, I'm having to apply like some kind of tiny, minuscule decal of some sort. So I'm not going to do that till afterwards. I'll just put on the decal after the stream is over and just leave it blank for now. I think that that's 10 times better for all of us, really, so that it's not a drag on the pacing of the stream. All right, let's keep going. Oh, this is great. Didn't realize this. So you actually have some like stuff that you're gonna put in their little like treasure box. You have a gold faucet and a trophy done in that gold Lego-y plastic. So that is really funny. I guess Harry and Marv have, of course, if you look in the background in the movie, you can already see that they've hit other houses because they have kind of a treasure trove of stuff. And of course, building up to them getting to the McAllister house in the movie, there's kind of a build-up with them visiting other houses and ransacking them. And of course, leaving the water running. And as Harry told Marv, that's sick. You know that? That's sick. It is kind of sick. You rob the house, and then you flood the house for no reason. That's pretty vindictive. You know, I don't think the Sticky Bandits thing worked very well in Home Alone 2. I mean, for me, it's Wet Bandits all the way. I think Sticky Bandits is kind of funny when he puts all the tape on his hand and then he steals the stuff from, Salvation Army or something like that. I mean, okay, that's kind of funny, I guess. But that feels like a one-note gag. But I mean, I don't think anybody is going to say, well, Home Alone 2 is definitely better than Home Alone 1. I don't really think that's a very prominent argument. Anybody who watches those movies back to back will see that Home Alone 2 is not very original. I love Home Alone 2, I really do. And as a kid, if you would have asked me, I probably would have told you Home Alone 2 was better or something. I don't know. But as an adult, it's pretty obvious that Home Alone 1 is the original movie, and it has all the original ideas. And, you know, Home Alone 2 is made for economic purposes. So, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's fine. It's Home Alone 2. It's Home Alone 2. I love it. There are some laughs in Home Alone 2 that I think are just as good, if not better, than some of the laughs in Home Alone 1. In particular, the whole face-off in the hotel about where he's taking the Angels with Even Filthier Souls, the sequel, and he's playing it and turning all the hotel employees against each other. Now that is quality humor. I absolutely love that. So no matter how much better the first one is, that is something that the second one has that I think is pretty dynamite. Me and my family laugh. I mean, just with the mention of that scene. Of course, I was the most Home Alone obsessed kid you can imagine. I think a lot of us 90s kids, who by the early 90s were that age, were kind of around Macaulay Culkin's age. I think all of us were kind of Home Alone obsessed. At least I think a lot of the boys were anyway. I think for one thing, the 90s, when I think back to it, I mean, it seemed like the era of like child panic. It seemed like every other Dateline or 2020 or Barbara Walters kind of special was always about something happening to kids and how to keep your kids safe. And it was kind of horrifying to see all that on TV. And, me and my wife, we always had a theory that the reason why 90s parents became incredibly protective when compared to like their 80s counterparts or whatever, their 70s counterparts, we blame it on Unsolved Mysteries. If you go back and you watch the Unsolved Mysteries episodes of the late 80s, then you can kind of see how much horrifying stuff they get into, because Unsolved Mysteries is scary. It's still scary to this day. And with those original Robert Stack episodes, you can watch those and you're like, oh, our parents were all so freaked out by all of the crap that they saw in Unsolved Mysteries that they were absolutely horrified. So I actually think she had a really good theory there. Oh, there's the hood of the van right there. Yep. Looking like a van. Of course, without the stickers. And like I said, I'm going to do the stickers later. I think it would be absolute Lego misery if I didn't wait. Because I have seen the other end of that. It is not fun. You're in the middle of the live stream and you're like half panicking because the sticker isn't on there right. If you're like me and you're kind of a crazy person, or a little OCD about sticker placement, then that can be a real thing. So here we have, I think, the side view mirrors. And yeah, these just mount on the sides right here, because that's where side view mirrors go. I heard they go on the side, but don't quote me on that. There we go. Okay. Then we have the windshield piece right here. Oh, that sets it off nicely. Now we're starting to really feel like the van right here. Yeah. Wet Bandits ride again. Okay, now we've got kind of the pieces that close off the top so that you can easily remove the top portion. So let's just... This is, of course, the modular nature of this van. All right. Dropping pieces left and right. I love it when Lego transitioned to these kind of breakaway roofs and breakaway pieces that allowed you to peek into the stuff without completely dismantling it. That is an, I think, underappreciated development in Lego evolution over the years. Because used to, it wasn't like that. You know, you would look at pretty much full disassembly or rebuild to be able to get to see something. You know, sometimes I wonder how many of these advancements are Star Wars evolutions. Like, because of a lot of the things the Star Wars sets were doing, did that kind of push Lego a little quicker to do certain things or to make certain changes? It's funny because the history of Lego changes fundamentally with the introduction of Star Wars. And, you know, of course, the same could be said of a lot of different brands and their interaction with Star Wars, but I don't think it can be said to exactly the same degree that you can with Lego. Because with Lego, Star Wars is one of the things that like pulls them out of the muck and gets them back on track financially. So you know, without Star Wars, you're kind of looking at alternate history here. You know, what would have even happened to Lego? What if they tried to bet on Star Trek instead or something? Yeah, it probably wouldn't work out. All right. So this, I think, is the back license plate right here. Okay, looking good. And we've got the back lights, the rear lights here. This van is coming together quickly. I mean, like, really quick. I think it's good that Lego paces things the way that they do. And I've talked about this a lot. Pace is something that is absolutely, I don't know, it's what separates, you know, these smaller, more rinky-dink sets from the big boys like this one. If you can get the pace right, then you can really enhance the building experience. You can really take it to a whole nother place. If you don't get the pace right, you know, it can be a miserable experience. And I've used this example many times, but I will use it again. There's certain sets that are good sets, but the experience of building them is so monotonous and just so, oh my gosh, you know, overwhelming. And it just keeps going and going and going, and it starts to feel like a chore. That is when you're not having fun anymore with it, and that's when the pace wasn't as well thought out. Like from years ago, the classic TV series Batcave. That was absolutely no fun to build. None. And just took forever. And it was just a miserable experience. And, you know, you hate to say it, but it just wasn't, it didn't gel. It didn't come together as fun when you're doing it. And that's the thing. You can have a set that looks like $1,000,000, you know, it looks great. And for some people, I think that that's all that matters. But for me, it's not all that matters. I need to have fun and a sense of kind of pace when I'm building it. You know, when we built the Daily Bugle, I thought that was really fun. It did get a little monotonous because we were building floor after floor. And however, though, that kept it snappy because every floor was just varied enough and did something different enough. And that kind of got you into a rhythm. So monotony is okay if you build in like a rhythm to how you're doing it. But it's not so great if there's no rhythm. You feel kind of aimless. It feels like a chore. That wasn't how the Daily Bugle felt. It was a little tiring, but that's not even in a bad way necessarily. It's just that it was a lot of building. So, you know, I was supposed to have used a gray piece here, and I used the blue one. Good thing. It's my first flub up here. Good thing I discovered that now rather than later. Let's get that fixed. Okay. We'll get that reattached there. Well, must be one of those special Lego pieces that won't reattach. Come on. Huh. There we go. Just had to get it at the right angle. Okay. I think I've got the top fixed up now. And here is the roof of the van. Okay. Of course, if you remember, there's all kinds of equipment on the top of the van. You know, I'm curious. Is there like, could you do kind of a dark and gritty prequel to how Harry and Marv even acquired this van? It's something I've never thought about before. But isn't there kind of some implication that maybe they didn't get this van in like a really nice way? I mean, I want you to think about that for a second because I hadn't really thought about it till I was here building a Lego replica of it. But seriously, I mean, Harry and Marv, like, did they kill somebody to get this van? Gee, they don't seem as fun-loving anymore. I mean, think about it. How would they have acquired this van? I don't know. I don't. Maybe they're pretty devious. Then again, I mean, that wouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, they're gonna kill Kevin at the end of the movie, or at least like take his finger off or something. So they don't really seem like good people. It's the kind of menace that really kind of got minimized quite a bit, I think, in the second movie. Of course, this was at a time when kids' movies had stakes. You know, there was nowadays, which I don't know if it's for the worse. Some people like to rant about that stuff and say, oh, you know, kids' movies in my days, you know, the kid was getting threatened or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. In some ways, it might be for the better that that's not in kids' movies anymore because it's a little disturbing. I think society has changed a little bit, but, you know, there was a genuine menace in the first Home Alone, even if it wasn't present until pretty much the end of the movie, I think, is when it's really present when it's really apparent that Harry and Marv are actually going to hurt Kevin. Of course, as a kid, it really made the old man Marley, made him the hero of the movie. To me, as funny as that is. What is he? He says, "Let's get you home." Thinking about doing a crossover where it turns out that dude is a Jedi. I mean, come on, he looks kind of sagely. He's got a big beard. Put him in a Jedi robe, man. You know, I think I looked up that actor one time, and he'd been a character actor and done a bunch of different things. It was really funny when I realized years later, as an adult, might I add, that Angels with Filthy Souls was not a real movie. And I don't know if anybody watching this had the same experience about thinking for sure that Angels with Filthy Souls, the gangster movie that Kevin watches, I can't be the only one that thought that was for sure a real movie. Like, that this was an old movie that they were using clips of, and it was just some old, like, random gangster movie. Because I'm telling you, I thought for sure that it was the real deal. Now, what's funny is that at the time, especially back then, you thought that black and white movies in 1990, 91? Maybe it was 90 when Home Alone came out. In your mind, and I think in the public consciousness, black and white movies seemed like an ancient thing, like something from this absolutely bygone era, that was just ancient history. But the truth is that had just been like 40, 50 years previous, which really isn't a huge amount of time historically. So what's funny is then you can look at the technology of the way that Home Alone was made versus the way that those films were made, like old gangster movies. And honestly, with the way they color graded and, did it in black and white, changed the cinematography when they filmed those segments in 1990 or 89, then no wonder it's so convincing as a real old black and white movie, because the truth is it would be harder for us to make it look that way now because our technology has moved so far beyond those old kind of gangster movies. So I've always been really amused by just what a good fake Angels with Filthy Souls is. But I'll talk more about it when we actually build that part, because there's so much more to discuss when we actually... I do believe that there is a TV we're going to build if the sticker sheet is any indicator there. All right, we got the top on the van there. So the top of the van, it's a plumbing and heating van. I've always been... I guess I just need to look a little more closely at it in the movie, but I'm not exactly sure what all that stuff is, like on the top of the van. Like, what are we looking at on the top of this thing? Am I just missing what it is, like, real obviously? Like, in my mind's eye, it is a ladder, but I don't think that's all there is to it. I think there's more, or there's something else going on up there. And the build here certainly suggests that it's a little different. Maybe I should look that up sometime to kind of see what we're really looking at here. Okay. So let's go ahead and attach these wheels. Van is going to be looking tight. Look at that. Oh, I can hear the little treasures are roaming around in there. It's one thing I don't even think of when I pick this thing up, is the little loose pieces and the little crate in there. Okay. Okay, plumbing and heating vans, looking very nice. Pretty cool. It'll look even better once I have the stickers on there. All right, so it was just bag one is the van. Okay, the van is done. Yeah. So there's Harry and Marv, ready to roll, ready to get in the van. So, you know what? Since I'm here at the end, and I don't think that it'll wreck the pace too much. Let's see. I wonder what, usually you wouldn't have a piece this big left over. I bet I've left it off of something here. Maybe I should retrace my steps real quick. Usually if you see a piece that big, you messed up. It was supposed to go somewhere, but who knows? Maybe it's an actual extra piece of that size, which is unlikely, but it's possible, I guess. These days, Lego will not hardly give you an extra piece of any kind of that size. Huh. Well, I'm going back and I'm looking, and I don't know. Maybe it really is an extra one. There's one more place it could be. Let's check it out. Yeah, maybe it goes back here. I'm going to take their little treasure box out where they keep their stolen goods. Yeah, maybe it goes there. Yep, pretty sure. So I think this was just supposed to be the floor for the back there. I'll just press it in real quick. Quick fix. At least I didn't have to totally disassemble the thing. And there we go. Now it has a floor. It looks a little more finished now, I guess, in there, right? Should have realized that to begin with. My excitement for Home Alone overshadowed my ability to think reasonably. Forgive me, YouTubes. All right. Gotta stick this guy in there. Okay. That's in. Top goes back on. Press it all together. There we go. There's the van. Looking good. Okay. Now I'm reasonably satisfied that it is actually together. Now this looks much more like the kind of extra pieces you would get in a Lego set these days. You wouldn't get giant brick pieces these days. So let's go ahead, I guess. And because I'm here at the end of this bag, I think I've got time to kind of just obsess over stickers and kind of just get them on, because it would be a shame for you guys to look at the van like this and not see it in its final form right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and put on some license plates first. Be nice if it was that simple at the DMV, right? They give you a sticker. Go out there and you apply the entire license plate, every bit of it. Not just your renewal on your registration. The whole license plate is just a sticker. In the movies, it's always that the, the inmates are making the license plates. I have no idea if that's accurate. I have no idea if that's a real thing. I mean, is it? What? Maybe it was, like, once upon a time. I just know there's that great joke in Batman the Animated Series with the, what is it called? Batman? Is it the one, Batman's in my basement? Or is it the one, maybe it's the other one where Batman's, where the Batmobile is sabotaged. And the Penguin's in it, and at the end, he's in jail, and he's pressing the license plate. And he eventually has to press Batman's custom plate. Because apparently, for all that dark grittiness that everybody talks about with Batman the Animated Series and how it's just so legit and how it, oh man, it's the darkest animated show of all time. The Penguin is pressing a custom license plate for Batman that says ABAT for you, I think is what it said. So talk about, you know, tonally a little different than what you might expect. So okay. So those are the license plates. That already made it look quite a bit better. Then we're going to do our side decals here. We have these OK plumbing and heating decals here. What's funny is that they're numbered, but it looks like you could reasonably do it on either side and it would be fine, but it does apparently want you to put on specific numbers for specific sides. So that's okay, I guess. We can handle that. Oddly enough, the sticker numbering is never what you would expect on a Lego set, like ever. It's always backwards from what you think. They asked them about it recently in an interview. They were like, you know, what's the deal with the sticker numbers not matching the order that you might expect? And they said that the stickers are done in such a different point in the development. The stickers aren't the last thing that gets figured out. So what ends up happening is you end up with a very, I think that they figure out the sticker numbers, and then when they do the directions, then they figure out after the fact where the stickers are going to go or in what order they go in, or I don't know. But it's something like that, and there is apparently a real deal excuse for why the stickers numbers aren't in the order of the actual application of the stickers, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Then there's the age-old question of when you apply stickers, you can see this here, that there's a little bit of a gap there. You see that? It's never going to cover the entire piece. So when I put the other sticker that connects to this, do you account for the gap? Do you smush them together as much as you can, and that means the other side doesn't look as good? It doesn't look as even. There's lots of questions to answer with that. So, you know what I try to do? I try to split the difference. I do. I try to split the difference, and I kind of I leave a little bit of a gap, but have them be close enough to where it feels like there's some visual continuity. This is pretty maddening to try to get this right, but I'll tell you where it was even crazier was on the Mystery Machine sticker placement. Oh my God. That was a nightmare, because those stickers on the Mystery Machine, unlike this, because there's a natural space on the OK heating and plumbing van decal. There's like a natural space between the words. Not so on the Mystery Machine. Those designs, you see what I mean? You have them together like this, and it's okay because there's a space. So you don't even notice that there's this little gappage. But man, on the Mystery Machine, such a thing does not exist. So I ended up actually taking all the stickers back off of the Mystery Machine, which was an unbelievable process that drove me crazy. And then trying it again and getting them like side by side then. So maybe I shouldn't admit that. Maybe people are going to come for me now and put me in some kind of rubber room or something. Maybe I should have said, haha, yeah, I got them on there, and they weren't perfect, but it was okay. Maybe that's what I should have said. Yeah, I have to say, I'm feeling Christmasier already, because Home Alone is kind of you spiral with Home Alone when it comes to Christmas, because you can't think of Home Alone without thinking of all of the soundtrack, and then the soundtrack will then put you into Christmas mode, and before you know it, you're watching Christmas Vacation. Before you know it, you're saying, keep the change, you filthy animal. Keep the change, you filthy animal. A happy new year. You know, one of the funniest stories I've ever heard about somebody trying to get into Christmas mode when it wasn't actually Christmas was one of the writers of Doctor Who saying that he had to write a Christmas special in like July, and saying that he was like he got out his Christmas tree and was booming Christmas carols in his office, and because he couldn't write it unless he was in Christmas mode. And you know what? I actually really believe that. Yeah, it looks nice. Okay, sticker looks nice. I actually believe that, because I do not think it would actually be possible for me to write like a Christmas themed story or do anything that was Christmassy unless I was in that very specific mindset, and I'm not sure that you can fake yourself into it. I have no idea if you can. I mean, I suppose you can to some extent, but I do sort of wonder if it's even possible. So let's go ahead, and before we end this first bag here, let's just go ahead and see what Harry and Marv look like in the van. So easiest way, or the way it suggests, is to just pop this off, and it comes off really easy. So that's nice, at least, that it can do that. And then let's see what we got. Let's have Harry. Oh yeah, I think I didn't complete this thought earlier, but I came up with a way when I was a kid to tell the difference between Harry and Marv real easy. I just remembered that Harry is the one who doesn't have hair. I know, right? Joe Pesci, if you're watching, I'm so sorry. But that's the way that I figured it out. I thought if I can just remember that Harry is the one that doesn't have hair, he's not Harry, then I'll be good. I can remember it. Maybe I'm the only person on the planet that did it like that, or could remember something in the exact most backwards way. But I guess what I was thinking was, oh, it's like a joke. His name is Harry because he doesn't have any hair. Somewhere, John Hughes' ghost is listening to this. He's not happy. That wasn't his intention. I'm sorry, Ghost of John Hughes. I apologize. I did not mean to read in to your creation there, to your brilliant script, because it is brilliant. All right, there they are. Let's go down to their level a little bit. And this is where he says that one right there, that's the silver tuna, Marv. Oh man, this is great. I mean, talk about vibes here. I mean, you're getting that. The shape is right. I think proportionally everything works. Let's see what this is like, because this should just, yeah, this is, as long as you have a better fingernail than mine, I tend to tear mine off. And then you should be able, should be able to open that up. Hey, that's cool. Like it? Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're after there, people. Look at that. Well, if you liked this, I can only imagine how much fun the house is going to be. So it's great that I was talking about pacing earlier. It's great that they came up with a pace here where it's like, you know what, before you build the gigantic house, let's just have you warm up a little bit with this fun little mini build of the OK Plumbing and Heating van. Residential work is our specialty. Oh man, this is great. This is great. Well, guys, of course, I should be back tomorrow. We'll be starting the house up and see what kinds of fun traps and surprises that Kevin has in store. So it should be fun. I want to thank everybody for watching, and of course, be sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next live stream tomorrow. And enjoyed talking to you guys, and God bless. I'll see y'all later. Bye.